Welcome back to Your Palm Beach Guide, and today we're doing something extra special. For our episode today, we're bringing you inside the heart of the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce with a full team takeover. Joining me today are three of the incredible people who help keep this organization thriving day in and day out. Brendan Patterson, our membership coordinator, Katie Reichelt, our director of communications and events, and Jane Hesser-Lill, our beloved office manager and the organizational powerhouse who somehow claims to be semi-retired, though we all know that's far from true. We're just missing our president and CEO, Doug Evans. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on what it really takes to power one of Palm Beach's most dynamic organizations. From event season chaos, membership growth, and behind-the-scenes teamwork to personal journeys, shared vision, office dynamics, and everything in between, this episode is all about the people helping shape the Chamber's future. We'll talk about how each of them got here, why they chose the Chamber, what they've learned, and where we're headed, and of course, some of the fun and craziness that comes with it all. Let's get started. Well, guys, welcome to Your Palm Beach Guide.
Thanks, glad to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Our Palm Beach Guide.
Our Palm Beach Guide. So this is truly a great episode because we decided to do a chamber takeover today and to have everyone on our team except for our fabulous Supreme Leader, Doug, who couldn't join us, but he'll be back on, I promise, and we'll make this happen. But I just want to share that I'm excited for this episode. You guys don't know the questions, and they're not hard, so don't stress. Okay, it'll be fine.
I thought we were going to roast Doug.
I know, right? No roasting
later.
today. No roasting today. But this is a question for everybody, so we'll start with Brendan. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. How did each of you find yourself at the Palm Beach Chamber? Brendan, you start.
Well, it was probably because of Katie. We worked together for a season at Palm Beach Atlantic University, and that's initially how I even heard about the Chamber. And then she introduced me to you. One thing led to another. We were at coffee, and
Here we are.
Here we are.
I love it. Jane?
Well, I met you, Kiana, in the nonprofit world of being do-gooders for people less fortunate, and tried to retire.
I wouldn't let you.
And you would not let me. In fact, you said, no, please come. And it's really just a little bit of accounting work, just a few numbers. Didn't know we were going to grow threefold.
Right.
But you brought me in and said, we'll have some great speakers. It's going to be very interesting, and you'll get to attend. And you have not, well, you've lived up to it. Some fabulous speakers that we have.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Katie?
Well, I just have to say Brendan missed the most fun detail, which is that I coordinated his wedding.
Oh, that's actually a really important detail.
Totally separate from all of this, but I feel like that was like a good moment.
Yeah.
That was the introduction of Katie doing events, and then that bridged the conversation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But we've actually known each other for like 10 years.
That's a
Anyway.
long time.
But Kiana and I have also known each other for maybe
long
like
time.
10 years.
Yeah.
We were in college together, but weren't really friends. And I feel like we would just like see each other in
Be
the
like,
community. Went to a couple of chamber breakfasts and just ran into her. And then we randomly got lunch last summer for no reason. And it was like fine, nothing groundbreaking happened. And then, we just reconnected and the opportunity arose. And I just couldn't have imagined a better fit for myself.
You know, I think what brings us all together is we all knew each other at some point before the chamber. And I think that's really what makes us a good team because we have like a connection outside of work, which I think is really nice.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with Brendan just because you're our newest addition to the team. So these questions are for you. But you are 30 plus days in as membership coordinator, brand new. What has surprised you most about your role so far?
I think the genuineness of the members of our community, in the sense that everyone that I've met has been so welcoming, so excited, and so just aligned and passionate about the mission. So that's been the most surprising thing for me. It's a breath of fresh air, honestly. So
It's always good when you go into a place that is ready for you and like kind of welcomes you to be like, and then they're not like, oh, you're the new guy, you know, go over there in the corner. You know,
yeah,
they
I feel
embrace you.
like I've worked here for months already. So.
It honestly feels like you've worked here for longer than 30 days. So when I was thinking about these questions, I was like, oh, right, like it's only been 30 days, which is crazy. What has the onboarding experience been like? And Billy, you can totally rip it apart if it sucked. So just be totally honest. But jumping in, you jumped in really during season. And what was that experience like when we've already had things planned, we already were working on execution, you really were kind of thrown in?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it really was just a lot of learning and trying to understand what the momentum is, and like where you guys are headed, and like where the chamber as a whole is focused. And so it's just been a lot of learning and trying to ask questions and understand the systems. I think in systems, and so it's just like trying to wrap my head around one thing after another, and then make all the connections, and meeting all the members, our trustees, and everything like that has helped put a lot of faces to the names, and kind of put a lot of context to things. So just, I guess with everything else, like the relationships have added a ton of context for me already. So.
And I love to, a lot of people forget that, we can host a lot of great events, we can throw a lot of great parties, but at the end of the day, the backbone of the chamber is membership. And so as membership coordinator, the core role is membership growth and membership stability. And so what excites you most about just getting out in the community to get those new members?
I think it's just the growth of Palm Beach in general.
Yeah.
That's something I've loved to see, just being in the area for the past 10 years. It's a growing area. There's so many new companies and people moving to the area. And so that's really exciting to see, the ideas, the inspiration from other communities. That's kind of like, mixing and crossing paths with some of our more local, more established business and organizations. So that's the exciting part for me, is going out and just meeting different business owners and people from all over.
Yeah, and well, your time at PBA helped kind of solidify your role in the community already, because you've been in West Palm for, you said, almost 10 years or more than 10 years. You met your beautiful wife here, I think, right? Mm-hmm. And that you've started a new life in West Palm, like West Palm is your home. And so kind of touch on just a little bit about your journey with PBA, what you did at PBA, and how that, led to the chamber and the connections here.
Yeah, so I started my time at PBA in the enrollment and admissions office, and my whole territory, my whole role was building relationships with local high schools. And so I've been in every high school in Palm Beach County, and just that really laid the groundwork, getting to know the area in a professional capacity, because that was one of my first jobs right out of college. So like that really gave me a strong foundation just in the area, and gave me a lot of great relationships with folks. So yeah, I've loved the journey of it.
Every school in Palm Beach County. That's a lot.
Every school in Palm Beach County.
And I mean, just to put yourself in front of students is kind of scary. I always find it intimidating talking to young people sometimes, because you're like, are they secretly judging me for just standing here? But then you're like, who cares? I'm just going to talk to them and it's fine. But you have such that great personality that I'm sure you connected with a lot of students, and they were like, yeah, like I'll listen to you for, college advice.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I mean, it's just, if you can talk in front of a room of 7th and 8th graders, you can talk in front of anybody. It's the scariest group of people to, talk to.
See, that's what I'm saying.
It's funny to talk about, but like, that's,
It really is. Yeah. It's so scary. What has been your biggest sort of welcome to chamber season moment for you? I feel like each of us have had that experience where it was like, we're in it now. Like each of our experiences have been different. What was that for you?
I think it was the first chamber breakfast for me, just seeing the room fill up and like seeing it all, executed like beautifully, and it's just that was the moment for me, is just seeing the room full and knowing like this is what we're here to do.
Oh, I love that. When you talk about membership, we'll switch to the business side now, and you talk about membership and the importance of explaining what membership does for a person's business, and that selling point almost, that is like, why invest in us? Why invest in what we're trying to do here? Because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money at the end of the day. How have you been able to really make it your own and make it more, again, though you're 30 days in, so totally fine if you're like, I don't know, I'm still figuring it out. But a lot of people really kind of make up their own script to share in their own experiences. And, we all listen to each other in the office because we have such a great office space. But, what has been your kind of selling point for those new members?
Yeah, and definitely still figuring
Yeah,
it
yeah.
out. But so I'm sure it'll become more solidified and evolve over time. But so far I think it's been ownership in the sense that you know the real value in membership with our chamber, I think, is your voice is heard, and so it's you get your voice across, and you get to be a part of the conversation and steer the direction of like one of the most exciting, fastest growing business communities in the nation right now. So you're to have a seat at the table, so to speak, or like there's so many different analogies you could say, but like your voice being a part of that conversation, it really establishes a little bit of ownership. And so I think that's really the value.
I love it.
I like that too.
That is really important. So before we go to Katie, I have one question that's just fun, and it's just a fun one. But in one word, how would you describe your first month at the chamber?
I'll go with welcoming. It just goes back to the
that's nice.
team, like you guys have
Wow,
been great.
that's so nice, Brendan. Okay.
So, yeah, it didn't
like
take
it.
long to find space around the office, and here's the coffee machine, and here's all the fun stuff. It's just like, so yeah, it's great. It's been an awesome time. So.
Amazing. Well, now we're going to switch to Katie to talk about all things events and communications and just the powerhouse that you are. And I'm excited for people to hear your story. So really, you are the center of the chamber, truly, of execution, of making sure you are. I mean, everything that we produce comes through you at any point in time. And so you are the key, not executioner, because that's like the worst word, but you're the key person that makes things happen here at the chamber. So what first drew you to this role?
Wow, that's a great question. I mean, it was the events, actually.
Yeah.
But attending the events as a guest. I'm trying to remember my first chamber breakfast. I had maybe been to, say, 5 of them over the years before I really got involved in this capacity. But every time I would go, I would just be blown away. I mean, people closest to me know that the Breakers is my favorite place in the world. But it wasn't just going to the Breakers. It was walking in and seeing the room full and just feeling like you have all this opportunity to meet so many different people. And it was always so well executed way before I got there. And the speakers were always amazing. And I just always walked away feeling like that was a cool event. But also the chamber is like, this is like a legit place. And I always felt like, I don't know. I'm just going to say it. I always felt like it was the best chamber,
Thank you.
even just as a member of the community. So, I've always held it in such high regard. And just seeing what you did, I was shocked when you told me that you only had like 3 staff members. And so I've just always had so much respect because of the events and because of seeing you at the events. So I guess so. I don't know.
That's
There's
so
a lot of
good.
things.
A lot of things, but I mean, just that makes me happy, of course, because it all starts with the experience that anybody has, and that really, if nobody wants to come to your stuff, you're not very successful.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah.
You know, during season, we always say during season, it always feels like season gets longer, but the pace really is nonstop. So tell people a little bit about what life in events really is like. And you can start for the breakfast. What does it really take to put on such a monumental and monstrous event?
Yeah, I love that question. So this obviously isn't my first events job, and something I learned in events a long time ago was that you're never just working on one event, you're working on like 5 at a time. And you have to adjust your vision when you're doing events, because you're working on the event that's going to happen tomorrow, but you're also thinking about the one next week and 2 weeks out and a month out, and also you have to start planning for the 6-month out one. So it's always like you're seeing like short and then also long vision constantly. And the breakfast is the same way. We just had our May breakfast on Monday, and today I already started looking at my list for the June breakfast. And I mean, you just have to. But once you get that organization down, and before I started doing events, I was not a very organized person, but now I have like my to-do list has a to-do list, and I love it. I love like checking off the list and like going back and forth and like just even getting myself more and more organized. So that's what it comes down to. And with every event, there are 10,000 details.
Right.
But if once you harness the details, then it's like, then you're in like the flow state. So
Well, and do you think that like anybody can be an events person, or you have to kind
That's a
of be
great
made to do it?
I mean, I guess anyone could learn how to be an events person, but I think it helps to be organized, or to know how to be organized, to be a little bit bossy maybe, and know how to direct. As I mentioned earlier, I also do weddings.
Yeah.
And I don't know, though it's funny because, I'm kind of a soft person. I don't like confrontation, but I think to do events, you have to be willing to just lay down the law and say, I need you to do this. This needs to start at this time, whatever. So I think it helps to have a little bit of that directorial, presence, and then be organized. And
Well, and talk a little bit about your background with PBA as well, and just your multiple degrees, and because I think that really plays into your execution for events.
yeah, thanks for saying that. I always feel like my path was so disjointed, and it's so funny. So I also went to PBA. I then also worked at PBA for 5 years after I graduated, and I also started in admissions, not at the same time as Brendan, but I was an admissions counselor, and then after that, I worked in residence life for 4 years, and I managed a building of 200 freshman girls, and I supervised a staff of 7 RAs, different 7 RAs every year. So I had to train new ones every year and build those relationships. And I think for me, that was kind of the start of my events career, because I would do events in my building on a budget of like $5, and just have to be really creative and think like, how are these too cool for school, like freshman girls, going to come to this like dorm event, and get all my staff involved. And I would even do like little events for my staff in my apartment, and like just like little themed get-togethers and things. So yeah, I think that's kind of where my love for community and community building and guest experience came from. In the meantime, I was also getting my master's in counseling, which I was also in class with Brendan, who was doing the same thing. I don't know that why I pursued counseling is a different story, but I think that taught me some like skills, just how to empathetically relate to people and meet people where they were at. And then in the background of all of that, I was also doing weddings, and so that was like building my like event hard skills. And then after it was time to graduate from my job at PBA and from the master's program, I kind of was like, what if I just jump and see if someone would hire me in events full time, knowing that I had no real experience in events. And the Norton Museum of Art took me on in special events, which was just an awesome crash course in how to do real events with a budget of more than $5. And then I jumped around for a little bit, and now here I am.
Here you are. Well, so I wanted you to specifically touch on your counseling background, because I think that you've really evened out our team with the chamber, because I can be the hammer. I have no problem being the hammer, really like a giant sledgehammer, if I'm honest with myself, because people know that like if you show up to an event and you didn't register, I'm not letting you in. Like I don't really care what happened that you couldn't register, because it's like everybody registers. Whereas you're like, I completely understand. There's always that one time, and it's needed though, because like you are so gracious and you've really been able to balance it out where it's like, now I know that if we need to tag team and if there is a real issue, then I can come and do that. But I don't always have to be the sledgehammer, which is really nice. And so that's why I say that, because I don't think by accident you got a degree in this. I think it was all really divine and destined at that point, because we needed that. And this is why I think we all work really well together, because again, we all balance each other out, which makes a really amazing collaborative work environment.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted you to touch on that.
Yeah, I am so grateful that you're the hammer. I think about that all the time. Like I'm scared of people, so I couldn't do what you could.
Well, so I want to know, just from your perspective, what's one moment so far in the chamber, year? Because you've been here 7 months now, right? Seven months, I think. But what has been one moment, since you've started at the chamber, where it captures both the chaos of the event, but also excites you?
It was the December breakfast.
That was so stressful.
So chaotic. So I started in October, the day before the October breakfast. So I had no hand in the October breakfast, no idea what was going on. And then the November breakfast was kind of chaotic because I was just still learning the ropes, and so I feel like that doesn't count. But the December breakfast, and you knew exactly what I was talking about when I said that. I felt like generally that breakfast was like, I kind of had a handle on things. Okay, I think I like kind of know what to do, but I made the mistake of, basically it was a registration error, so we had actually registered 100 more people than the room was even set for. I don't know if I have ever told you this, Jane.
Oh, no.
Maybe even like 130 more people than the room was set for. I mean, there was literally no way. And it was just it was an error on my part, but it was also specific to that breakfast that we just, I don't know, it was just an oversight.
Well, because the town of Palm Beach always does their Employee of the Awards in December, and they get 60 seats. That's like in addition to all of our members. And so when you told me that, I was like, we'll be fine. It'll work out.
Yeah.
Like, it'll work out in the end. And it did.
Yes.
It really did. So, but the chaos and then the just pure execution of that December breakfast was a miracle.
Crazy, because I think we had gotten it down and we had kind of figured out some things, but even the night before, I think it was still at least 90 over what the room was set for. And there's a hard cap at 500 for that room. And
I think you even told me I couldn't have a seat.
Yeah. It was like everybody's standing. Everyone's standing.
And the night before, me and Kiana were texting like, we're both praying so hard. And then that morning, it was fine. Miraculously, it was totally fine. Not even everyone was standing. It was like, it was fine. And we like looked at each other from across the room and we were like, I don't know how, but we're here.
That's so true.
So it was great.
So what are you most excited about for the future of the chamber and just your role, not only in communications, because you are the key communicator for our members, but also just events-wise?
Yeah. I mean, personally, I'm excited to, now that I've done a full season, it's not quite over yet, but I started at the beginning of season. So now that I've kind of like harnessed a full season, just surviving and figuring things out, I'm really excited to take the summer to actually strategize and figure out how can I do things better and how can I contribute to the growth of the chamber and growth of Palm Beach, and do our events better. Not just me personally, but how can I take time now to think about like just the small details that I have control over. How can I make those better for everyone so it's a smoother registration experience and it's a just better guest experience at the event or whatever. So really excited to hopefully come out of the like learning and just like, flying by the seat of your pants phase to like just a little bit more mature and relaxed and strategic phase. Yeah.
No, that's so good. And so my fun question for you before we go to Jane is that if people really knew what went into pulling off all of these events, what would surprise them the most?
Gosh, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, people are surprised all the time at how small of a team we have.
That is true.
I think when people know and learn that we do truly 80 plus events a year, and I'm at every single one, a question that I get all the time in the office when I'm talking on the phone to someone is like, so will you be at that event? And I'm always like, yeah, I'm the director of events, so I will be. But yeah, not just the fact that we're pulling off so much and so many amazing events with amazing speakers and 500 people every single month. And it's just us. It's just 3 full-time staff members and our CEO and a part-time staff member. That's just, everyone is just blown away. And I would be surprised if a year ago I told myself that that's what I'd be doing, but it's the best.
True. I love
and
it.
we do it somehow.
Well, so Jane.
Hello.
Hello. I'm very excited to talk to you about this. So
Don't make me cry.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not going to make you cry. Listen, these are just, questions, okay? So you may say that you're semi-retired, but let's be honest, you are one of the pillars of the chamber and foundational pillars, really, of the chamber. And so what keeps you here?
That's a good one.
Well,
Let's start. Rip off the Band-Aid.
Obviously, the three of you. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say Doug, because he's just a terrific person. He's a terrific man. And, life keeps changing. And if you want to stay in the game, you need to stay current. And staying current starts with meeting new members that Brendan brings in, going to incredible events. The speakers that come along are, I'll be honest, sometimes I go home and I have to research a little bit. But that's what's keeping me going, is the nonstop newness of it.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. And, since we kind of joined around the same time when it was just such a different chamber back then, and you've seen so much growth in the past 5 years. So how have you, what have been like the key points of the transformation of the chamber since you've joined?
I think being able to see through the looking glass the growth that's happening before the growth is happening. We kind of all knew it from COVID, what was happening here in the area, but Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce continues to push the boundaries of what else can we offer people that are coming here from all over the country. More often than not, the last 6 months, I was talking to Brendan this morning of the international, South America, Miami. We're not Miami, but we're so darn close, and let's face it, they want to be part of what's going on up here in the Palm Beaches.
That's true.
And I think that's, as long as that looking glass is even bigger and you're looking even farther down the road, whether it's 5 years down the road or 10 years, we're going to stay competitive that way, and people are going to want to be part of what we have.
Right. And what do you think makes this team so special?
Well, I'd like to say faith.
Yeah, that's true. We are all very lucky at that.
I love the fact, Katie's calmness coming into the office keeps the rest of us a little bit calmer.
Oh, it definitely
we
does.
are a little calmer.
Yeah, we are.
We are. Having Brendan come in on the heels of, trial and error with other people that has experience has been refreshing, to say the least. The growth is triple-fold. I mean, when we started 3 or 4 years ago, for me, I get a kick out of people that walk in the office and go, "Oh, you've been here forever." And I'm like, yeah, no. I mean, yes, I've been here forever, but not here forever. And I don't know that I'll be here forever, but I always have to quantify that, because I think they think that I'm somebody that was there years ago. But it's going to keep changing, and we just got to be open to it.
Yeah. No, that's true. I think when you transition into the office manager, administrator, I always forget administrator, I think.
I don't know.
But you've worn so many hats at this point. I'm just like, Jane knows everything. What role, though, because you're really pivotal in the organizational structure of how the chamber, has really formed and keeping us all on track, and really just making sure that we all stay in the lane. I feel like you've really spearheaded that. And how have you seen us, and really your role in just the organized chaos of making sure that we actually get things done? I feel like you've really been a pillar of making that happen. And
well, I think my journey, my background, I think you know this. I don't know whether you all know. My background, my strength is public relations and marketing. I mean, it's bringing in membership. I handled membership for the West Palm Beach Fishing Club for years, which has boasted, one of the largest memberships ever.
Yeah.
Of course, it was a nominal fee to be a member, and I'm sure that's still a dynamic group. Background of developing the Sailfish Marina on Singer Island, handling all of the big game sport fishing tournaments. I did nothing but events.
Right.
And that's where you got to go. Is it going to rain? Is the boat going to make it back to the dock? And you got to wait. I mean, just a lot of events. I had the privilege of working for Alex Dreyfus. But all of those, and then going into nonprofits, and nonprofits which are near and dear to my heart over the years, working and developing Meals on Wheels. So coming into the office and seeing the growth that we've gone through and trying to figure out, no, that belongs over here. Right. And as much as what Katie neglected to say is before she starts the events, It starts with, well, how are we going to account for that? We had a great speaker yesterday, the head of the Palm Beach Symphony, David
McClement,
yes, who talked about data drives
decisions. Data drives decisions.
Data drives decisions. So before anything happens,
Right.
we all sit down and go, what's it going to cost? Or how are we going to generate it? And how are we not going to have to pass it on to our membership if we're going to do something really dynamic here?
Right.
So a lot of that. So that's really
The balance, right?
So who knew? I love numbers. I was really an accounting major for a while. Yeah, I've done a few things over the years. So I kind of am able to go, no, that belongs over here
Right.
and this belongs over there. And you listen to me.
Of course I listen to you, 100%. 100%. What has been your most rewarding part in the chamber so far?
The staff, the crew, working with all of you guys, and again, having the time and having the interest to be able to hear the speakers and to really just kind of stay current. I think it's just so important.
Well, and something I just love about you, and this was before, we even worked together, but when we're friends, like you're my girlfriend,
Yes.
And something I always love about you, Jane, is that you are always learning. It doesn't matter, how seasoned you are. You're telling me stuff that you find out, and I'm like, tell me more. Like, that's, some people get to this stage in life where they're like, I'm good, I've done it, I don't need to know anymore. And you're not like that.
Well, no, but I do love to tell you an old story once in a while.
Yeah, but the old stories are
I do
so
it,
important.
in my day.
I love it. I'm all about the in my day stories because, you'll say that, but then, you're also open to learning all of it. Like you said, you'll go and do research about something if you don't know it. Some people will be like, I'm good. I don't need to learn it. It's like with AI. You're like, I'm going to learn everything about AI. And I love that.
Yes.
Because most people don't do that. So here's my fun question before we get into some group talk here. But are you ever actually retiring? It can be to be determined if you want.
It's going to have to be TBD.
TBD. Okay.
TBD.
I'll take it.
As the rest of the calendar fills up, I joke and go, nope, I got to work that day. And
Right. That's true.
as my wonderful pickleball friends and my wonderful Pilates friends and my wonderful soon-to-be Mahjong friends and my wonderful, the list goes on.
Right.
You just kind of keep filling that space. And my book club, which I'm not a book club. I'm a stalker book club person, I found out. I like that.
Lurker.
Lurker.
I'm a lurker.
Lurker
I'm
book club person. Right there with you. Me too. Me too. I love it. Well, good. That's good to hear. So we're going to jump really quick just into some group dynamic questions that are, about all of us. So Katie, we'll start with you. How would each of you, but Katie, you start, obviously, because I just said that, describe the culture in the chamber office?
With just one word?
You can do a sentence.
Okay. Comfortable and casual. This is my first my first real job on Palm Beach, and so I thought that it was going to be maybe a little stiff and this is high stakes, But it's not. Even when it's stressful, I'm the one that's stressed because it's about a breakfast. But no one, everyone's like, yeah, it's it's very shockingly just casual and family style.
I love it. Brendan?
That's a good way to put it.
You can't copy what she
I'm
said.
not gonna copy. I'll put a spin on it, but I think collaborative came to mind.
Yeah.
Just in terms of real office dynamics, because our desks are looking at each other. Where you're forced to collaborate in a way that is just organic. On different projects and things. So that's been cool to see. But I would probably say collaborative.
I love it. Janie?
I'm going to use all those verbs, collaborative, we have a sense of being a family.
Yeah.
We do. Kind of run it off. We each have a moment here and there. We just go, we're all entitled to a moment. But I look at, sometimes we call Doug Dad.
Yeah, that's true. Doug or Dougie.
Even I say it.
Yeah. I'm like, Dougie.
When I want money, Dad, I need some money.
Exactly. It's true. It's very true. Well, and I think, too, I always love that, when Doug joined and led our team, he always, because I was such a nervous wreck. I would stress and ring and be anxious and like, oh, my gosh, how is this going to happen? And that was, a couple of years ago. It really wasn't that long ago. It was just a couple of years ago. But Doug always would say, it's not the Pentagon. It's just not the Pentagon. And it took me so long to finally understand what he was talking about. And so that's where, that helped me at least just with how we work and our team dynamics, because things will get done, but it'll be there for you tomorrow if you can't, get it done right away. And because it's not the Pentagon. So I love that. What's one thing that, people don't see about our day-to-day life that deserves a little bit more appreciation? So Brendan, we'll start with you.
Oh man. One thing about just
like our day-to-day stuff.
Day-to-day that people don't see?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, we have a great office. We have a really nice spot,
I like it.
Prime location.
The windows.
So, the windows, the light.
All the things.
The office environment honestly plays a huge role in your work. Like, I haven't always been a big believer in that, but I've noticed the change in that. So that's been nice. But
I like it.
For any of you guys listening, we have a great office.
By appointment.
By appointment.
Only. Yeah, by appointment only.
Just because sometimes we're not there, and sometimes you'll get there, and nobody will be there. So just for your own sake, make an appointment. Jane, what do you think?
Repeat that question.
So
Please.
what's one thing about like our day to day? Our day to day in the office, or whether it's a day to day with an event that just deserves a little more appreciation.
I think I give a lot of credit to all of you. That I don't think that people ever stop and think, wow, there's 1,800 names in the membership, and the amount of calls that come in and the amount of questions that come in is mind-boggling for, if you will, 3 full-time, 1 part-time, to actually get to all of those questions that come in. Right. And I don't think that people always appreciate, and yet I feel like we all try to give them as much time as we can to answer their question and get them the answer that they need.
Right.
Not necessarily the answer that they want all the time.
Right.
Because you can't wait till the end to register.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way anymore. But
that's good. That's a good point. Katie?
Yeah, I think similarly, I think about, obviously, mostly from the events side, barely anything of what we do is automated.
Right.
And we should think about doing that more. But I think maybe people just don't see, like, we do so much by hand. And so, and I personally see every single name that comes in to register for every single event. And, the things that we physically have to bring to each breakfast and every event literally gets packed in my car and Brendan's car.
Right.
And we're like hauling it in and out. And I'm not complaining. It's great. It's fun. It could be nice to not have to haul as many things at some point in the future. But, it's all done by hand. All the emails that I send out, that's actually me writing it. So, and all the phone calls. We don't have anyone else answering the phones but us. So we really do talk to our members and know what's going on, and everything is kind of handmade.
Yeah. No, that's
and we
true.
really don't want to automate.
No.
Yeah, no.
We don't want ChatGPT answering your call.
That's true. I think I do appreciate that if you call our office, people pick up,
Yeah.
And I say that because it's always hard when you call someplace and it's like, press 5, press 10, and then it deletes you and you're like, I've started, and then I'm just like, forget it. Right. I just give up. So I do love that about our office, even though we do answer an enormous amount of phone calls, I think, that people don't realize. So, I want to go to a personal note really quick. So, season in Palm Beach and just season in general for us, Floridians can be really intense sometimes. And I want to know how each of you stay grounded during that time and really not only stay grounded, but keep moving forward and being motivated in your role, and especially during season, because people forget how intense it is. And Jane, we'll start with you.
Oh, should we start with the drive across Okeechobee Boulevard?
Let's talk about it.
That it takes me longer to get from I-95 to the office than it does from Palm Beach Gardens to Okeechobee Boulevard. So being creative in these times and keeping the mojo calm without letting people annoy you. I think a lot of it has to do with mood music and podcasts.
Mood music and
Mood music and podcasts, which anybody knows, if you get in my car, I'm usually blasting some kind of music. So I think that's really helpful. But I actually look at it from, I'm excited. I moved here out of college. I moved here when we used to be able to jump in the docks at Sailfish Marina in the summertime, no boat traffic, isn't this great, and swim from the north dock to the south dock. And now it doesn't really seem, every place is busy, every place is, and I'm okay with it.
Right.
I think I'm okay with it because I think we have these wonderful tools now that you can make the most of sitting in the car. You can make the most of, like, tomorrow's another day, we'll get to it.
Right.
We're not building on, I used to say, rocket ships here.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
That's true.
yes.
Brendan, what do you think?
I mean, I think in any busy season or busy time, like for me, it's always like so important just to take care of myself physically and mentally. And I have a phenomenal community of friends and neighbors, you know, in my neighborhood. And most of us went to college together at this point, and that's been super grounding for us. We've been doing these garage workouts over the
That's
last year.
amazing.
And just like the simple stuff, you've got to remember to like actually unplug and have a real conversation and stay grounded to friends and family and, you know, get out and break a sweat.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that really helps.
I love it. Katie?
Yeah, I started thinking of really practical things too. This is kind of embarrassing, but just this year, I started planning out my lunches for the week.
Yes.
And I don't know what I was doing before
Yeah,
then, but that
snaps
has
to
helped
that.
me so much because it's just like, okay, that mental thing is done. Having enough snacks for every afternoon and having like a plan for coffee in the afternoon is just, that's like been a real game changer for me to stay grounded and sane. But yeah, also connecting with my community. I have a book club. I guess I run a book club.
You definitely run a book club. Yeah.
And it is just such like a lifeline for me. I mean, the books are really fun, but also just because it's a group of like maybe 15, good friends that I've had for a while. And even if it's just, if it fills another night on the calendar and I have events like 3 other nights that week, that is at least like a time for me to just like talk about my actual life and, what's going on and like, just funny things that happened at an event or whatever and things like that. Just really making time to, stay grounded and connect with people like in the outside world is, I think, really helpful.
I love that you say that because, we mentioned earlier our lurker. Me and Jane are our lurker book
Yeah, I feel like you
people
have to
for you.
explain that.
Yes, so I'll explain it really quick. So both Jane and I wanted to join your book club, and we, said yes before we really, understood what it meant. And so now what we do is you just tell us what books you're reading, and then we'll read them on our own time. And then, because like right now I'm reading Midnight Library, and you read that I think 2 books ago, and so it's exciting because I get to talk to you about it, even though like you're already done and on to the new book. So we're the lurker book people who are just hopping on your
We could
your
incorporate that into, remember we used to do the 3 o'clock stretch?
Yeah.
But since we were coming in earlier,
That's
we
true.
we need to do it the 2 o'clock stretch.
2 o'clock stretch.
And we could do during the stretch, we could talk about the book.
Yes, that's a
Since
good point.
none of us
Mini
ever
book
leave
club.
our desk for lunch.
That is true.
We do
We
not
don't.
leave our desk for
Yeah, we
lunch.
eat
So
at
we
our
eat
desk.
right there.
Yeah.
So-
That's actually a good point. We should do that.
and we'll add stretching, a little Pilates stretch.
I feel the need to clarify. I'm not like a dictator in book club.
That's true.
You can be in book club and never have read the book. One of my dear friends does that, Brendan's wife. I love her so much. And it's fine. And even if you just come like once every 6 months, it's fine. But anyway, they refused to be part of it.
We
And you're
joined
not
the
even
group
the
chat.
only ones.
I know.
I have another close friend
maybe
who
we
does
can
the
come in the
exact same
summer.
thing.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Maybe we can come in the summer.
Listen, I think that would be a great idea. It was so awkward because you added us to the group
I
chat,
know,
and then
she
like a
did.
week later we
We're like,
left
no,
the
we
group
can't.
chat, and I was like, oh, this is
So-
uncomfortable.
so
This
sorry.
is very
Whoops.
uncomfortable. It's like
Me bad.
my bad on that.
Okay.
So okay, we'll keep moving here because I know we're close on time. What has been the most rewarding part about the chamber journey so far for each of you? Brendan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. It will come back to me.
Yeah.
I gotta sit on that.
Actually, I want to change my question because I think we kind of touched on this already. But I want to know about, each of us have those moments where we kind of look at ourselves and we're like, wow, that really just happened. And I want to know what that moment is for each of you, like the most chaotic or funniest team moment in the chamber so far. You go, Katie.
I have one. I hope I'm allowed to talk about this.
Yeah.
We'll just cut it if we can. Well, we've hosted a couple parties on a yacht.
Yeah.
Which that in itself is like,
So
what is my
wild.
life? That's crazy. But the most recent party we did, we invited a number of well-known people, including Gail Brophy from Members Only. And I've only seen a couple episodes, but I saw her in it. And as usual, I was just like during the event, I started at like check-in and was just checking people in. And she walks up with her people, and I didn't even know who she was, but someone from her group ran up to me and was like, "This is Gail Brophy." And she was so sweet. She took both of my hands and she shook it, and I like helped them down the dock, and I was just like, did that happen? And it was a wonderful event, and people are still talking about it and writing articles about it and
That
making
is great.
videos, and it was just so cool that we did that. We also pulled that off with a week's notice.
Less than a week.
Yeah.
It was less than a week.
Oh, less than a week.
Yeah, definitely less than a week. And
Yeah.
we had probably 150 people there.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That moment was like, I really can't believe we did this.
Yeah.
And it was so successful. I was like, I'm done. That's it for me.
Yeah.
Like we won right there.
Yeah.
That's a good point. What about you, Jane? Do you have one?
You know, I really don't.
Yeah.
I think I don't have one particular moment because I think I'm just so frickin' fortunate to be in the space that I'm in.
Yeah.
So I look at
I love
each
it.
day as kind of,
The whole thing.
yeah, I don't.
That's
Well,
amazing.
then, you know, sometimes when you guys let me go off on an old story,
We want to hear these.
That's-
Okay. Oh my goodness. You act like
stories
it's
are
such
funny
a.
and
They're
good.
amazing. They're amazing. Did
I've
you
had
find
a good
one?
life.
Yeah, Katie's story made me think of doing caviar bumps on.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Yeah, that was probably the moment for me. That or we'll shout out because I remember Stubbs and Wooten.
Yes.
On Worth.
Yes.
The
Oh,
shoes,
oh,
they
the
look
shoes.
phenomenal. I love them. They're very comfortable. So
Yeah.
that was also because I know they've been super involved in
Yeah, they have
in
been.
some of our events and things like that. So that was a cool gift moment.
I think the best moment for me was when we were trying so hard to get Nick Mealy, and I was following him for such a long time, and I was talking to Gabby, and I was like, I just think we need to do this, and really Gabby was like, well, we should. Like Gabby was the one that really encouraged me to like even ask, and when I met with Nick at St. Ambrose, and I was so nervous for some reason. I was so nervous. I was like, this is such a big pitch, like. What if he says no? All of these things. And he just was so chill. He was so normal. And he was like, yeah, like, that sounds good. And like his answer was just so like, yes, I'll do it. And then we just spent the next year. And then the shoot, like when we did the actual shoot on the yacht and with the dress and with the books and the music and like everything about that whole campaign for our guide was the moment where I was like, this is wild that we're doing this type of stuff. And just it blows me away that, you know, people say yes sometimes and I'm like, why? But they do.
Yeah.
They do. All right, jumping into future chamber questions and then we're going to wrap up. But as the chamber continues to grow, and like we've had some internal conversations as well, but what really excites you about where we're headed, and especially coming into the fall programming, and even, you know, if you're the visionary like I am, like a year or two down the road, like what excites you the most? So Katie, we'll go with you.
I'm excited about the speakers you're going to continue to get and how we're going to elevate. In the office, Kiana's always like dreaming with us, like, I want to get this person and this person. And I'm like, yeah, that's amazing. I would come. So yeah, really excited about that. And again, personally excited about elevating like how I do things. And I'm really excited too about Brendan's role in all of this. Yeah, he's like talking about, I think I'm going to get this business. I'm going to have them join. And I'm just excited
I
to
like
see
it.
where we go with our membership growth too.
Let's hear it, Brendan. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about, I would probably say like figuring out ways to like just add more value to what people want to see from the chamber and like what would get them excited. Especially there's so many newer small businesses in our area that have a lot of exciting things happening, and so like I know that there's even talk of like some interesting collaborations ahead, you know, and some of
good.
those kinds of things. So that type of stuff really excites me.
Amazing. Jane?
Well, I'm excited to see all the different new potential that as they come into town, the businesses, whether it's medical, whether it's finance, whether it's education that's going on, and their ideas that they openly usually will reach out to you or possibly to you, or maybe even to Brendan, of ways we can, I don't want to say push the envelope, but we've added the councils.
Right.
We've got the Women's Leadership Council and the Real Estate Council and the Healthcare Council and the Technology Council and the Nonprofit Council. It's probably only a matter of time before we realize we need to have a Finance Council. And each of those, I think, gives the membership that much more reason to want to be in the room. There are things happening here, and how do you stay connected and how do you stay current if you're not in the room?
Right. I love that you say that, because I say this a lot at member orientation, because it's like, I think people sometimes come into a chamber, whether it's ours or any other chamber, and it's like, well, make the sale for me.
Yeah, what are you going to do for me?
Yeah, like, what are you going to do for me? And it's I just think it's so self-centered sometimes, because I always say, we're here to be that ultimate connector for you and whoever you're trying to meet. We're the convener, we're the grand convener for what we're trying to do. And we'll give you great content. We'll make sure that you leave the room and you have something to take away with, like you're learning something. We might not here to pat you on the back and give you a cheerleader speech, but we'll at least put you in the room with people who you want to be with that can actually make a difference. And I think that sometimes people forget that when they join a chamber, or if they go to any networking event, maybe kind of changing that mindset of, whatever space I'm in, how can I make connections that are going to benefit my business, and how do I utilize that? Utilize those different angles. So I like that you say that. That was a good point.
And we'd be remiss if we got to do a shout out to Gabby.
I know Gabby couldn't join us today.
And Gabby and Paul, because the influencing, you were talking about the ship and the influencers, but that's what it's all about.
Right.
And they do, between the two of them, a phenomenal job of making sure as the demographics continue to grow. I asked you the other day, what's the average age?
Right.
The average age we think is about 40.
Yeah, young.
And that's an awesome, and maybe they're all 40, but got to stay current.
Right.
And got to speak to the mass of our membership, and they're doing it through social media.
Yeah. And Gabby keeps us really grounded with what's happening. I think, Gabby is our media manager now, or marketing manager, whatever it is. But
Taking care of Lenora's.
She promoted with the director of HR. It was so sad when she left our team, but also so great that we still get to keep her, because she really keeps us in tune with what's happening on social media. And not even social media, but just what's happening in the greater picture of everything. So when we talk about these ideas and stuff about our influencer program, or our yacht party with all these influencers on there, whatever it is, like that really, Gabby's like, so what do you think about this? And I'm like, sure, why not? I think that's one thing I love about our team, is we're never afraid to try anything. We'll try, and if we fail, then we try something else. And I think that really sets us apart sometimes, because we'll try it and hope it works,
And it's not unusual to try it and not, but then try it again later, and then it does.
And it does,
right.
I love it. Well, as we close, I have some rapid fire questions for each of you. They're very fun. I promise, don't stress. It's really, really fun. But Brendan, we'll start with you.
Okay.
Coffee or tea? What is your go-to order in the morning? Unless it's not coffee.
It's coffee.
Okay.
It's just a black cup of coffee.
Wow.
So vanilla.
Never knew that.
Didn't
But no vanilla.
But no vanilla,
No
really.
vanilla, no nothing. Yeah.
Nothing. Okay.
I think a good cup of coffee doesn't need anything.
It's not mushroom coffee, though,
I love
right?
it.
Not much coffee.
No shrooms to start your day. I love it. Katie, what about you? Coffee or tea?
Coffee for sure. It needs to be a little creamy, so a little cream, and I usually like to do some vanilla or something, you know,
Okay.
a little flavor.
Janie?
Iced always.
Iced always, okay.
Decaf, baby.
Decaf.
Light and sweet.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. You're the only person I know that drinks decaf coffee.
I don't need any more energy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Katie, what is your favorite hidden gem in Palm Beach?
Oh no. Wait, can you come back to me?
Yes.
I need to say the right answer.
Okay.
Come back to me.
Brendan.
Do we mean it as an institution or just something at a
Whatever
local
you
spot?
think.
I think the The rye al pastor at Buchan is the best hidden gem
Yeah.
in Palm Beach County. Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't think I don't know
hard
if
to
it
beat.
classifies as a hidden gem anymore.
That's fantastic.
But it's amazing.
Maybe
yeah.
that drink specifically.
That drink specifically, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's good. Jane?
I'm a beach girl.
Well, it's not very hidden.
Go to the Colony, hop on the little golf cart, and take me straight to the beach.
All right, well, that's fair.
Put an umbrella over me, though.
Yeah. Sun
That's
protection.
my hidden gem.
Okay,
The beach on the Palm Beach.
great. Katie?
Okay, yeah. At first I was thinking generally just the Honor Bar, but specifically it's the crisp martini at the Honor Bar. It's I think it's a gin martini. It has elderflower and it has Sauvignon Blanc. It is so good. One of my best friends and I discovered it, and it's like every so often we're like, we need a crisp martini.
Okay.
Okay, I'm coming back.
Okay.
I do like the fish bar at the Breakers.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Seafood
I
bar.
love
Seafood bar.
the seafood bar at the Breakers. Just sit me there. You can give me anything that's alcoholic there. And
I love it.
Yeah,
okay,
really good.
now I'm off the beach. Though.
Okay, off the beach. But still amazing, amazing, amazing. Jane, what is one book that changed your life?
Oh my gosh, Kiana. It's called A Fine Balance. A Fine Balance takes place in India, talks about the different castes, the political system in the 60s, but it opened me up to learning more and taking some education for ministry classes just to understand that we're all born in different ways, and I might have been born in your house and you might have been born in mine, and it's okay. It just makes life interesting.
Amazing. Brendan?
Oh, man. I'm not a huge reader, to be completely honest with you. But
That's okay.
and this you might enjoy it if you're into audiobooks.
Yeah, audiobooks
Matthew
count.
McConaughey, Green Lights.
Honestly, that book was so good.
It's amazing, yeah. It's
Okay.
poetic, but it's real. It's great. It's just like looking at opportunity through a whole new lens. And yeah, I loved it.
It was very good. Katie?
Brendan's not part of book club, and he's not even a lurker. No affiliation. It's hard to think of one that changed my life, but one that I can't stop talking about that my book club recently read in the last 6 months is called The Women by Kristen Hanna. Hotly debated within book club. Some people hated it, but I just adored it, and it was about women in the Vietnam War, and it's a historical fiction, but it was, based in history, and it was just, it's heavy, but it was
I
so
read it
good.
because of you. It was good.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe it was life-changing.
Lurker.
It was so good.
Lurker Book Club.
Lurker Book Club. I like it.
And how about you?
Me?
Yeah.
A book that changed my life is, besides the Bible, because
Right.
the Bible did, but Redeeming Love. I've read that book 6 times, and I read it every so often, and it's just a beautiful love story, and it's based off of Hosea in the Bible, and how he marries a prostitute.
Yes.
And, but it's so good. It just talks about that, like, no matter where you are, God's redeeming love for you never changes. It's always consistent, and no matter where you are in any season of life, there is always an opportunity to come back.
Yes, you gave me that book to read.
I
too.
did.
Again, Lurker.
I have lurker, and what's amazing about the copy that I have is that was gifted to me when I was in 8th grade by my varsity soccer captain, and she wrote in it and said, someday I hope that you find your own Michael Jose. And ever since then, I've kept that book, and I've had a ton of women read it, and they write in it how they felt after they've read it, and I just read it all the time. It's like in shambles by now. It's so torn apart, but it's my favorite book ever, besides the Bible. Okay, Brendan,
Yes.
what is one piece of advice you would give your younger self as you navigate your life and the workplace?
Try more things. Like, who was it yesterday at lunch talking about this idea of like failing forward, and like lately the only thing I have been thinking about is just this idea of like everything that you don't try will always just be an idea that you will never know how it went, because you'll never be able to look back on the other side of it and like and reflect on it, or like see if it changed, like see where it took you. Like it'll always just have been an idea in your head. So I would definitely advise any younger self, but like my younger self especially, just like try more things and who cares like what the result is? Just
Yeah.
to have tried it is enough, I think. So yeah.
Jane?
Tell my younger self,
Yeah.
start reading more sooner.
Mm.
Don't,
Okay.
not to have dropped right, after college you kind of go, shoo,
Yeah, that's true.
and didn't quite read as much in my 20s, so
That's good.
read more sooner.
Katie?
Believe in yourself more.
Yeah.
I mean, I still struggle with confidence, but especially when I was younger, it took me so long to even just believe that I was like worthy to be in the room and that someone would give me a job, and I don't know, that I was like good enough to talk to and whatever. So just kind of similar, like try new things, but also do that believing that you can do it and that
Right.
people want to talk to you. And also the worst they can say is no.
Right. That's true.
And I'll add one thing to that:
yeah.
invest in Bitcoin.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. That's so great. All right, before we end, last question for each of you. What does being part of the Palm Beach Chamber mean to you personally? And anybody can go first at this one.
I'll go.
Okay.
It's a lifeline.
That's a
I
big
don't know. I lost my husband after 50 years. He brought me here to Florida, and this is kind of a lifeline to like the next chapter.
Yeah, that's so good.
Beautiful. If you know me really well, all my friends know, for the past 12 years that I've lived in West Palm, I've said we live here. And it's just, I grew up in Texas, and it's just like amazing to me that we get to live here. And I haven't stopped saying it. I've just been in awe of this place and obsessed with this place forever. Way before the chamber, I feel like I was an advocate for this community. And so it just feels like such a funny, special gift that I get to actually represent this place now officially and professionally. So yeah, we really live here now.
Really live here now.
Very good.
Pending Instagram page soon with We Live Here.
Yeah.
So
It's a good tagline.
I like it.
Opportunity, consistency are a couple of things that come to mind. Just like the chance to plug in and kind of be in this lane for the next foreseeable season of my life and my professional journey. Like that's what it means to me. Just opportunity there, and yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm just getting to know everything, but I'm excited to be here.
Yes,
Yeah,
good.
so.
Well, guys, thank you for joiing us on your Palm Beach guide
Oh,
for this
boy.
Palm Beach Chamber Takeover.
Are we going to turn off the mics and roast?
No. I think we'll have to call it because Dougie might be listening. Dougie's
Okay.
like blowing up my phone, so we should go. Well, thank each of you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Fiona.
having us.
Keep up the good work.